Hello, hi, and welcome back, everybody. This is Alone Tonberry, and we're going to continue our journey through Final Fantasy XVI. It's been a few days since I've actually recorded one, so I have to remember where I am. I know I'm back on the airship, or, well, I shouldn't say back on the airship. I'm on this new airship. Speak with Harpocrates. I do want to see what this is all about, though.
And how may I assist you today?
I don't remember if I spoke to her. Ask about Vivian.
One would think.
One would think my role was abundantly clear by now. I offer you and yours the guiding light of knowledge, that of matters military and political, both past and present, that it might illuminate your way ahead. For it is only by understanding that. I'm having a hard time today. For it is only by understanding what has come before that one might steer one's way toward a brighter future. Your role, meanwhile, is to ensure that I remain furnished with as much information on the state of the realm as your people can muster, in order that I might continue to appraise the dispositions of the great nations and those who rule them. And of course, to pay... I thought she was going to say, start speaking. And, of course, to pay attention during my lectures. It would not do to appoint the storied Ninetales as your tutor, only to disregard her expert advice. Alright. Ask about coming to the hideaway.
I admit.
When I took up my professor's bonnet and began teaching at the University of Canva, I did not think for a moment that I would one day count Sid the Outlaw among my pupils. But nor did I imagine that my fellow educators would have designs on my life, and we both know how that ended. Has it been a year already? Such is the peril of an overly inquisitive mind. I suppose one is wont to uncover that which others would go to great lengths to ensure remained hidden. Were it not for you and your mutual friend having come to the rescue, my curiosity would likely have proved fatal. But instead, I was not only saved, but granted a new lease on life, as personal tutor to a band of outlaws, no less.
A far more reputable fellowship.
Than anything in the academic world, I assure you. I wonder who assisted me in saving her. Ask about the Crystalline Dominion. I wonder if she's talking about Jill.
My beloved homeland.
The crossroads of Valisthea, where one only has to stroll the streets to hear news from every far-flung corner of the realm. Its mother crystal yields more shards than any other, and its lands even now remain untouched by the Blight. It is a blessed country indeed.
Or at least, it was.
Until Sanbreque elected to invade and establish a new holy capital upon twin sides heretofore neutral shores. It pains me to see the land I love so changed, and even more to know that I did not predict it. I knew that Emperor Sylvester had designs on the Dominion, but to abandon Oriflamme, the seat of the Holy Empire since its inception, seems too audacious a move even for him. View the state of the realm.
What is it that you wish to learn?
Alright. The state of the realm. By speaking with Vivian in the Hideaway's map room, Clive can view the state of the realm and learn more about the current goings-on in Valisthea, revisit any of the Ninetales' past lessons, or take a deeper look at the relationships of those individuals in Clive's orbit. The Grand Cast, or Situation Map. The Grand Cast, a comprehensive grid of important persons and their respective relationships. The Situation Map, an overview of current and past Valisthean affairs. Okay, so she's gonna be like Harpocrates. I am so sorry there's more to read, but I'm gonna try to look at it. I'm not gonna like sit here and read everything, because obviously I have to get through what Harpocrates has as well. Allow me to educate you.
I have the details here.
All right, let's see. The Grand Cast. Here you can view a detailed visualization of characters' relationships in Final Fantasy XVI that updates as you progress through the main scenario. Use left bumper and right bumper to cycle through pivotal milestones in Clive's adventure. Inner Voice. An all-new feature is now accessible by pressing the back button, right? Yeah. While viewing the Grand Cast in Vivian's map room. Inner Voice affords you a window into both Clive's heart and the hearts of those he has encountered on his journey. After opening the feature, select a character with back to hear their innermost thoughts on other members of the cast. Okay. The Rosaria Marches. With the Blight pressing at Rosaria's borders and forcing ever more citizens of the duchy from their homes, Archduke Elwyn rallies his nation to take up arms against the Iron Kingdom and wrest Drake's Breath from their grasp. Yet tradition dictates that they must first march north to Phoenix Gate to perform the rite of ancestral communion. Clive Rossfield. So, okay, these are just... Okay, so I'm not going to have to reread these because these are... I am going to have to read this one. I might as well read it now, but... I'm going to have to read 2 of these, I think. Yeah. An Imperial bearer turned ally of Cid the Outlaw. In truth, however, he is something much more. Not only the firstborn of the Archduke of Rosaria, but also the dominant of Ifrit, with the ability to absorb the powers of other icons. In the 5 years since the fall of Drake's head and the death of his mentor, he and Jill have strived to continue Cid's legacy, the light of Ramu forever in his heart. After Cid fell and his hideaway was reduced to rubble at the hands of Hugo Kupka, Clive took on both his predecessor's name and role, becoming the second Cid the Outlaw and leader of the re-established resistance. Together with the other survivors and their new recruits, he continues Cid's mission to emancipate bearers and rid the realm of Mother Crystals. Okay, so these are basically just the notes from oh my gosh, what is his name? Harpocrates? It's more of just how they're related. Like, these are just going to be her. I'm assuming I have to read the last 2 of hers, though. Domino of Shiva and Clive's childhood friend. After Clive and Cid spirited her away from the battlefield where she was being forced to fight for the Ironbloods, Jill was placed in the care of the hideaway's talented physicker, Tarja, who nursed her back to health. 5 years have now passed since the fall of Drake's head, and she and Clive continue Cid's mission to emancipate bearers and rid the realm of the Mother Crystals. Dominant of Shiva and trusted confidant of Clive, leader of the new hideaway. Together, they continue Cid's mission to emancipate bearers and rid the realm. Okay, I don't know why you needed to write that twice. So, supposedly... Okay, inner voice. How do I... What? Okay. I'm not sure what that's doing. Oh, you have to read it. Okay, I wish the current peace could last forever. He's very kind and strong. Oh, that's what she thinks of him. Okay, I see. So this is the thought of the person you're looking, and then these are the thoughts of what they have, what thoughts they have of these people. Okay. He's such a naughty boy. He's very kind and strong. I'm sure you'll be fine. I hate the way she looks at me. Oh, this is when she was a kid? Oh, okay, this is the first... Wow, this is a lot. Okay, so we're not going to go over all of these because there's going to be a lot. So you can go through each generation of their life. Dude, okay. That's a lot. He's good at fighting. She's very pretty. Come back safely. Where did he go? I hope he'll be all right. Where did she go? He's always nice to me. He's good at fighting. I hope she'll be all right. That was when they left for Phoenix Gate. Okay, this was during the war. He bested me. You shall be my final sin, because she didn't know who he was at the time. You shall be my final sin. Okay. This is when she was unconscious. Cloaks and daggers. This is throughout the entirety of the quest. To Care Norvent. She's unconscious. Salvation at the King's Fall. A duchy. Oh my gosh. I need to know the truth. We must help these people. I'm so glad you're safe. He seems trustworthy. It's Gav. Tarja. I can never thank her enough. Goats. Or Goots. Thank you for bringing me here. Cid. Thank you for bringing us back together. That's Martha. A friend of the cause. Rodney. So he lost his life too. Hannah, she's just as I remember her. Annabella Lessage, a monster. Will we never meet again? Okay. The end of Eastpool. Why must it be the weak who suffer? Okay, so this is going to be really useful to... Well, not useful, but nice to look at during this. This would have been really nice early on. Just so I could see... You know, because now I'm going back to the past. I have to, like, okay. We are of the same mind. Such a brave boy. We will never meet again. Will we never meet again? She still thinks that. Okay. We're with you. He's very kind. He seems trustworthy. This is Harpocrates, a man of boundless wisdom. I owe her my life. Blackthorn, I'm sure his work is of the highest standard. Goots, there isn't a bad bone in his body. A no-nonsense trader for Karen. I can't understand her. Hannah, why? Yeah. All right, I'm probably only going to do her, but I might look at these off video because this is a lot to go through. I have a new purpose now. We are of the same mind. Such a brave boy. We're with you when he was still alive. A shrewd negotiator for Isabella. Or Isabel? Sorry, not Isabella. Yeah. The Drake decapitated. We are of the same mind. Such a brave boy. You can't die here. And Ultima, what is he? And present day. Let's make Sid proud. Such a brave boy. Come back to us. He and Clive are like brothers, Gav. Otto, we can count on him for anything. Sid, you left us with some big boots to fill. Vivian Ninetails, is there anything she doesn't know? Harpocrates, I like listening to his tales. Taria, she really likes drink. Blackthorn, his eyes light up when we bring back rare materials. Goots, he always looks on the bright side. Karen, I admire her candor. Obelus, he likes to sing sea shanties. Yeah, I know I met him in the last video. Quentin, he seems to have a lot of secrets. Isabel, a shrewd negotiator. Martha, a friend of the cause. And Victor, he wants to see us safe. Victor. Maybe, I feel like I met him last time too. Kupka. He would stop at nothing to find Sid. Ultima, what is he? Yeah, okay. Okay, so, yeah, that's a lot.
Of course.
To go through. And the truth is, all we're going to get here is their, just like their bios, which we're going to get from, what's his name anyway? Harpocrates. I am interested to see what people think of each other and all that, but that's a lot to go through right now. Let's take a look at these. I'm assuming this is kind of the same.
One must understand one's place in the world.
The situation map. Here you can view a detailed overview of current and past events relevant to Clive's story that updates as you progress through the main scenario. Use left and right bumper to cycle through pivotal milestones in Clive's adventure. Okay. What is this? Following Clive. This Phoenix Gate. This is where we started, right? Rosalith? Yeah, this is the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. These look different, though. To Phoenix Gate via Stillwind. While his father and brother ride directly for Phoenix Gate, it falls to Clive, Tyler, and Wade to take a less trodden path through Stillwind Marshes and eradicate the mob of goblins that has taken up residence there, before joining his family and fellow shields at the castle. Yeah, these are all to conduct the rite of ancestral communion. Yeah, that's where they were going, yes. The Grand Duchy of Rosaria. Yeah, these are all, this is the same thing. Reinforcements were sent to Drake's Breath? Interesting. Oh, this is a timeline as well, though. Dang. Okay, so at the very beginning, they were making their march, and they were sending reinforcements to Drake's Breath. The Holy Empire of Sambrek this was the invasion of Phoenix Gate. Taken captive by the Empire, Clive does all in his power to save his brother and father from the Imperial infiltrators, but alas, it is not enough. The Phoenix awakens and runs rampant, and in the ensuing maelstrom, Clive blacks out. He is found in the rubble the next morning and enslaved by the Imperial army on his mother's orders. The Night of Flames, yeah. Yeah, this is when they went to occupy the duchy. Drafted into the Imperial Legions, Clive survives the tragedy of Phoenix Gate only to be forcibly recruited into the Imperial Army and spirited away to Sambrek on his mother's orders. He would not return to his homeland again for many long years. Oh, and the Iron Kingdom, sorry, were making their move. Oh, that's right, because they both tried to take Rosalith, but the Empire won. Following Clive, infiltration of Nysa Defile. Clive is dispatched to the Nysa Defile as a member of the Bastards, an elite Imperial assassination squadron. Together, he with his branded brothers in arms. Sorry, I had to sneeze and it didn't come out. It's going to come out in a second, I'm sure. He pursues the Ironblood army in order to take the head of the dominant of Shiva. However, all does not proceed as planned, as he is saved from certain death by a stranger named Sid. Where are they coming from? Down here? Did they, like, land over here and come across? What? Interesting. So they were on a secret mission while the Dhalmekian Republic and the Iron Kingdom were at war. Kingdom of Waloed was doing nothing. Oh, this is after I got saved by Cid. In pursuit of the Dominant of Fire, their ambitions aligning, Clive and Cid form a temporary alliance. After driving the last vestiges of the Walooder force from Lostwing and freeing the imprisoned villagers, they follow Benedicta to Caer Norvent in pursuit of the Dominant of Fire. Okay, I'm just kind of reading the same stuff I've already done, so I think I'm just going to back out of this. This is nice and all, but...
Yes, perhaps a little
past
revision
lessons.
might
After
not
Clive
go
returns from
amiss.
his ill-starred adventures in Costness, he visits Vivian for a review of the state of the realm following the fall of Drake's Head and the Empire's invasion of the Crystalline Dominion. Okay, so that's all really nice
The
and well.
state of the realm is ever-changing, Clive.
That's all really nice and well if, like, I forget stuff, but I don't really see needing to go to her very often. I know that took a little while.
Look, Sid.
I just wanted to see if
Going on this time.
I just wanted to see if there was going to be any new information in there that you can kind of glean every now and again, but it's pretty much just the same stuff. And I have to sit through here and read Harpocrates' stuff. Mithril, a mineral most mighty. Introduction. Mithril is a material of both passing hardness and luster, and it is these two qualities for which it is valued by the weapon and armor smiths of the realm. However, there is a third quality of mithril that sets it apart from steel or shell, its durance. While even the finest steel may be melted by dragon's fire, become brittle in frigid climes, or turn to rust if not regularly and rightly oiled, mithril is once made eternally unchanging. In this volume, I will explain how one might go about making, shaping, and employing mithril in one's work. The Sins of Zemeckis, an illustrated history of the twins, Volume 4, Tales of the Founder, Mort d'Olivier. Mort d'Olivier.
Oh, Tome said
Tet?
the hideaway is built inside an airship. Said it was called the Invincible.
He used that name for some of the airships in past Final Fantasies.
Norseman Harpocrates.
Now that is a name I have not heard for a long time. So long, in fact, I had half forgotten it was mine. Welcome home, Clive. You were missed, as always.
I believe this belongs to you. Vivian asked me to return it.
On Gods and Men, a heavy leather-bound tome containing the findings of one Anaximander of Canver, a renowned theologian who spent most of his life chronicling Valisthea's diverse religious history.
Ready? Our resident scholar devours books faster than young Tet does lemon tarts. Would that I could do the same. But alas, I no longer possess the necessary constitution for such indulgence, either in words or tarts. That said, I have continued my search for mention of the creature you encountered at Drake's Head. But without access to the great libraries of Oriflamme or the Dominion, I regret that I have been able to find little and less. I am sorry.
Please, don't apologize. I'll send word to our associates. See if they can't furnish you with more books.
I fear it is not more books that I require, but the right ones. Mayhap we look in the wrong places. There are still libraries to the north.
I'll see what I can do.
You are too kind. There are not many in this world who would indulge the whims of a tired old historian.
Not too tired to go filching Kupo nuts, though. Always got a pocket for him. Nicks him off the Moogle.
Hush now. We all know there's no such thing as Moogles.
The twins seem well.
Aye. Yet they laugh far too little for one so young. The loss of their parents weighs heavy on them, however well they hide it. Titan took much from us that night, from some more than others, and the wounds that remain, they are not quick to heal.
Which is why we must give them all the time they need.
That we must. Just as I must give you the time you need to recuperate. Good day, Clive.
Good day.
Yeah, I'm
Guess
just
we'll
gonna.
be back soon. I should get some rest while I can.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn around and talk to you again, Harpocrates. I got a lot to read.
How good it is to see you, Clive.
He's got stuff to say too. Ask about the hideaway.
Look around you.
While it's a far cry from the Imperial Library in Oriflamme, in 5 short years we have amassed more volumes than most men or women might hope to see in their lifetime. No longer are the tales they contain hidden away from all but the privileged. We have liberated them, that they may fill the minds of all who hunger for knowledge.
Still,
There is much more out there, and as long as I draw breath, I shall continue to gather what I can.
why?
One day, a chronicle of your own adventures might even grace these shelves. A chronicle of your own adventures might even grace these shelves, or failing that, the floor. Ask about the past 5 years?
It has been difficult, certainly.
When Titan visited his wrath upon us on that dreadful night, we lost much. He robbed us not only of our home and our loved ones, but of that which Sid fought fiercest to preserve, our hope. Hope that we might never have found again had you not taken his name, and become our light in the darkness.
Had you not let us hear?
The Benamere and the Invincible where... To Benamere and the Invincible, where, among the ghosts of the fallen, our journey can continue. Here, in the belly of a Leviathan untouched by the passing of 1,000 years, does our hope burn brighter than ever. And here may it burn for 1,000 more. The Benamere being the lake, the Invincible being the ship. Ask about Tet and Crow.
I still remember.
The day I first met Tet and Crow, chasing their father about the hideaway one moment, clinging to their mother's kirtle the next. The twins' love for their parents was something to behold, so fierce and pure. When they passed, I feared the void they left in the children's lives would never be filled. Neither spoke nor smiled for years, hiding themselves away here in the shelves to bury their sorrows in the leaves of those tomes.
And thank goodness they did.
For I believe the stories proved a welcome distraction, as over time their pain faded, and now they laugh and frolic as they once did, if not with more vigor. They remind us that no matter how deep our wounds, we all have the capacity to heal. And that happiness lost may be found again. Alright, view this 1,000 tomes. I'm sorry, this is going to be a long reading episode, I think.
Particular chapter before.
Oh, yeah. That's a lot.
What subject shall we consider today?
Said the outlaw, leader of the faction believed responsible for the shattering of Drake's head in 873. With this single act of infamy, Sid's name quickly spread to the 4 corners of Valisthea and beyond. The Hideaway. Established under the leadership of Clive Rossfield, who took on the title of Sid after his former leader's passing and Titan's destruction of the old Hideaway, here a community of like-minded individuals from across the realm has gathered to build a place where people can live and die on their own terms. Like its predecessor, it is built within fallen ruins deep within the deadlands of Central Storm. Decidedly unlike its predecessor, however, it is located in the center of a lake, Benamere, across whose waters any invading army can easily be spotted long before their arrival. Vivian Ninetails, a scholar and strategist who makes her home in the Hideaway, analyzing every shred of information that comes in from the wider world in order to divine the dispositions of the realm's armies and those who lead them. She offers her insights to Clive that she might better understand the lay of the land. The moniker Ninetails, of which she herself is fond, was gifted her by her fellow scholars in recognition of her ability to speak at length on almost any subject. Victor. Oh, this was the guy that was in Costness. A friend of Sid's and later Clive's who keeps an ever-attentive vigil on the comings and goings in Dhalmekia from his hometown of Costness. Yeah. Costness, a town located in the rugged northern reaches of the Dhalmekian Republic. Though it was once a thriving trading post, the coming of the Blight has served to both discourage travelers as well as drive off longtime residents. All that now remain are refugees fleeing from elsewhere, the black marketeers who preyed upon them, and barely enough soldiers to keep the peace, or rather, to pretend to when they're not being bribed to look the other way. The fall of the Hideaway. An assault by Hugo Kupka, dominant of Titan, and his private guard on the first hideaway of Sid the Outlaw in the year 873. The safe haven, established amongst forgotten ruins long consumed by the Blight, was entirely destroyed, and many of Cid's collaborators and the bearers they had freed from servitude were slain. Alright, persons of interest. Joshua Rossfield. Have I read this one? A mysterious hooded man who many believe to be a dominant of fire. He is never seen outside the company of his faithful attendant. After being captured by Benedicta's intelligencers and imprisoned in Caer Norvent, he slipped free from his bonds and escaped to Phoenix Gate. Dominant of the Phoenix and former heir to the ducal throne, Joshua was thought to have died at the hands of the second Icon of Fire during the disaster at Phoenix Gate. However, he is very much alive, traveling the realm even now, his true identity hidden by a heavy cowl and an assumed name, that of Lord Margrace. How did he survive, though? Torgal. Clive's faithful friend. He is fiercely protective of him and his allies, loath as he is to lose his best friend again, and never strays far from Clive's side, putting the hunting skills Cid taught him to use in fending off foes and picking up trails. Sidolphus Telamon. Leader of the Hideaway and dominant of Ramu, Warden of Thunder. His plan to create a world where bearers and dominants could die on their own terms meant destroying the Mother Crystals, an act of blasphemy that would see him forever denounced as an outlaw. It was during their mission to fell Drake's head in 873 that Sidolphus Telamon lost his life to a beast from the beyond, passing the title Cid the Outlaw on to his protege Clive. Hugo Kupka. Permanent economic advisor to the Dhalmekian Parliament and dominant of Titan. He has little love for his country, taking advantage of his position to benefit himself and himself alone. After learning that Cid the Outlaw, the man who slew the love of his life, Benedicta Harmon, still lives, he tasks his personal guard with capturing and torturing bears in order to draw out his nemesis and take his revenge. Otto. Chief steward of Clive's hideaway, Otto continues to serve the same role he did under Cid, being the primary person in charge of all monies and information coming into and going out of the hideaway. Karen, one of Cid's most trusted allies. After Cid's hideaway was laid waste to by Hugo Kupka, I almost said that backwards, Hugo Kupka and his minions, she and her hardworking yet long-suffering apprentice Goots followed Clive to the new hideaway in Benimare, where they serve him in the same capacity they served his predecessor, sourcing whatever supplies her fellow residents are in need of. Goots, apprentice to Karen and ally of the hideaway. After Cid's hideaway was reduced to rubble at the hands of Hugo Kupka, he followed his nan in joining Clive at their new home on the lake. He has a keen interest in smithing and spends what little spare time he is granted heating and hammering metal, just as Blackthorn showed him. Blackthorn, resident blacksmith of Clive's hideaway, where he keeps the new Cid the Outlaw and his allies well outfitted with arms and armor. Though he is usually a sullen and secretive sort, his knowledge he is happy to share with Goots, who has long been eager to learn the art of smithing. Harpocrates II Hyperboreos, the hideaway's resident historian. After Cid's death and the destruction of his home, he joined Clive at the new hideaway, establishing a grand library within the walls of the fallen ruin, from whence he continues to share his knowledge with any who will listen. He has taken the orphan twins Tet and Crow as his apprentice, though they have yet to prove the most attentive audience. Maeve, landlady of the Tub and Crown, the hideaway's much-loved alehouse. Though she was born in Rosaria, her enslavement as a bearer saw her transported to Sembrec to work its wheat fields. However, when the farmer was unhappy with the harvest and thought to make an example of her for her fellow slaves, the curse breakers stepped in to instead teach him the error of his ways. Obolus, an old friend of Otto's from his merchant seaman days, now serving as ferryman between the shores of Benimare. Okay, so he was the ferryman. And Clive's hideaway. Knowing him to be a trustworthy and tight-lipped fellow, Otto invited him to join their cause after Cid's death, that he and his trusty skiff might help them build and operate their new hideaway in the lake. Kenneth. He died, didn't he? Chief cook at the Cid's hideaway who lost his life on the night of Hugo Kupka's attack. He was well loved both for his ever-genial nature and the toothsome fare he concocted from the limited ingredients available in their deadland home. Indeed, many of Kenneth's dishes remain on the menu in Clive's new hideaway. Yeah, I saw him get cut down in the cutscene. Maeve took over, I guess. Tet, one of a pair of young twins who assist Harpocrates in the Hideaway Library, or at least are tasked to. In practice, he spends most of his time reading books and teasing tomes with his sister Crow, though their parents were both bears. Tet was spared that burden. Alas, he was not spared the tragedy of losing both his mother and father when Sid's hideaway was laid low. So he's not a bear? One of a pair of young twins who assist Harpocrates in the Hideaway Library, or at least are tasked to. In practice, she spends most of her time reading books and teasing tomes with her brother Tet. Born a bear like her parents, but spared the prejudice and persecution that they were forced to suffer. Alas, she was not spared the tragedy of losing both her mother and father when Sid's hideaway was laid low. Okay, so the brother is not a bear, the sister is. The Mysterious Watcher, yeah. Scion of a lesser noble family of Dhalmekia, tasked by Hugo Kupka to trace the whereabouts of Sid the Outlaw, the man he believes slew Benedicta Harmon. His investigations lead him to Eastpool, where he overhears Clive and Gav's conversation and follows them back to Sid's hideaway. Medicine Girl, an orphan girl who pays for her bread by making and selling medicine. Ultima, an otherworldly being that Clive encountered in the inner sanctum of Drake's Head. He addressed Clive as Mythos before attempting to merge their consciousness. However, Clive was able to summon the will to resist the creature before Joshua returned from the dead to imprison it in a cage of flame that he sealed away in his own heart. Yeah. All right, Valisthea, a realm comprising the twin continents of Storm and Ash, over which the Mother Crystals stand timeless vigil. Timeless, that is, until Sid and his disciples commenced their campaign to bring each one, starting with Drake's Head, crashing down, spreading chaos and confusion throughout the great cities and nations of Valisthea. Sid's hideaway, a hidden refuge built on fallen ruins in the blighted lands of Central Storm. Here, Sid and his adopted family of freed bears from across the Twins made their home. That is, unlike the fledgling Utopia, was brought crashing down after its location was discovered by Hugo Kupka, dominant of Titan, in the year 873. In but a single night, the hideaway was destroyed, fewer than half managing to escape the slaughter visited upon them by Kupka and his men. Benamare, a lake in the blighted lands on the southern edge of the former Grand Duchy of Rosaria, named for the dragon that some tales say created the basin when it fell from the sky. Sounds like Final Fantasy XIV with the Keeper of the Lake. Fallen airships dot its expansive waters like forgotten cenotaphs, leading some to liken it to a graveyard. Its remote location far from any trade route and deep inside the Deadlands made it an obvious choice for Clive when faced with rebuilding Sid's legacy. Sounds a lot like Final Fantasy XIV. The Holy Empire of Sanbreque, a nation occupying the northern reaches of the continent of Storm. After suffering the ignominy of losing Drake's Head to an audacious assault by the outlaw Sid in 873, the Empire set its sight on the mother crystal of its nearest neighbor, the Crystalline Dominion. Sanbreque's legions duly stormed the historically neutral territory and installed the imperial capital at Twinside. This brazen act of conquest sent shockwaves across Valisthea and heightened the already considerable tension between the Empire and the Dhalmekian Republic. Oriflamme, former capital of the Holy Empire of Sanbreque, after its mother crystal was destroyed in an attack by Sid the Outlaw in the year 873, the decision was made to move the throne and her armies south to the Crystalline Dominion, regardless of whether or not the Dominion citizens approved. Oriflamme has since fallen gradually into decline, having lost the Mother Crystal's blessing and all the benefits it brought. Drake's Head, the Mother Crystal upon whose wings did Sanbreque ascend to geopolitical supremacy. It towered over the holy capital of Oriflamme, its mighty silhouette a testament to the power and permanence of the Empire, and then, in the year 873, it fell at the hand of Sid the Outlaw. The fall of Drake's Head. Oh, there are journal entries for everything. In the year 873, Sid the Outlaw, along with certain of his allies. That's weirdly written. In the year 873, Sid the Outlaw, along with certain allies of his, infiltrated the Sanbrequois capital of Oriflamme, bringing down the Mother Crystal in a daring and unprecedented attack. Investigations after the fact concluded that the infiltrators took advantage of the disturbance caused by an aether flood to gain entry to the Empire's holy sanctum. I mean, kinda. They didn't know there was an aether flood. In the aftermath of the incident, Cid was declared a wanted man, and the faction he led a criminal enterprise to be hounded across Valisthea. The Dalmatian Republic, a nation formed from a federation of 5 smaller states. It is located in the southern half of the continent of Storm and has its capital at Rondella, also home to the mother crystal known as Drake's Fang, inside which stands Castle Dazbog, home of Hugo Kupka, dominant of Titan. Kupka, obsessed with finding Cid and exacting his revenge for the murder of Benedicta Harmon, co-opted the soldiers of the realm and had them commit a series of atrocities in an attempt to flush him out of hiding. The Men of the Rock. Hugo Kupka's personal guard. On Kupka's orders, they ruthlessly gutted and destroyed Cid's original hideaway, vengeance for the brutal beheading of Benedicta Harmon. So they did cut her head off. Why would they do that? But Kupka's thirst for revenge is not yet slaked, and it is with reckless abandon that he employs his minions to commit atrocities across the realm in a bid to drive Cid from hiding. Why would they cut her head off? I feel like something's going on there, because the last we saw, Cid was, like, carefully and quietly folding her hands in respect. He would not cut her head off. I'm hoping something comes back about that there was some political stuff going on and somebody was trying to cause Hugo to go on a rampage, because that doesn't make any sense that Cid would do that. The Kingdom of Waloed. The sole surviving nation in Ash, Waloed has its capital at Stonhir, home of the Mother Crystal of Drake's Spine. It is ruled over by Barnabas Tharmer, dominant of Odin and Warden of Darkness, who has long harbored ambitions of extending his reach into the neighboring continent of Storm. Somewhat surprisingly, the Sambraquois Empire's incursion into the Crystalline Dominion prompted no immediate response from the king, who appears to be biding time and considering his next move. Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. I figured he'd do something about it. The Crystalline Dominion, a once independent state straddling the continent of Storm and Ash. Its capital, Twinside, is built on the tiny Isles of Ark, from which its mother crystal Drake's Tail rises. After Drake's Head was destroyed in 873, the Holy Empire of Sanbreque declared Twinside its new capital in defiance of the long-standing non-aggression treaty. While controversial, the move carried out by Prince Dion and his Knights Dragoon proceeded mostly unopposed, largely due to the Dominion's lack of a dominant of its own with which to intimidate the interlopers. Yeah, I mean, they're not gonna win. Non-aggression treaty, a pact in which was codified the agreement between nations to refrain from invading the Crystalline Dominion and laying claim to its mother crystal, Drake's Tail. It both cemented the Dominion's position at the center of world politics and placed checks on the ability of key players to exploit that position. Okay, I missed one somewhere. Okay, Northreach. When Sanbreque moved its capital to the Crystalline Dominion, Northreach went from being a vital gateway to the seat of the empire, to a forgotten country backwater in a matter of moons. And with the fall of Drake's Head, the ether was soon leached from the lands around it, leaving the fields fallow and the once thriving environs barren and lifeless. Why? Okay, so why would destroying the crystal cause the ether to get sucked up? I thought the crystal was doing that. Mysteries of the Realm. Heart of the Mother Crystal. The brightly shining convolution of shards that sits at the center of each Mother Crystal. When a heart shatters, so too does the mountain around it. Since time immemorial, sanctuaries have been built around the hearts for the worship and protection of these irreplaceable treasures. The Inner Sanctum. Sacred chambers in which the hearts of the Mother Crystals are enshrined. Believed to have been created before the time of the Fallen, they retain a portentous air even now, long after mankind has forgotten their significance. Ethereal Tolerance. The ability to resist the effects of ethereal exposure. This is higher in bearers and dominants, allowing them to survive concentrations of ether that would turn any human who lacks their gift. Turn. Okay. Some animals, including chocobos, also have a natural resistance to the effects of ether, but one of the many reasons why the birds are so... What? That doesn't make any sense. Why did it say but? It should say also have... chocobos also have a natural resistance to the effects of ether, one of the many reasons why the birds are so beloved across the Twins. I feel like I'm getting some typos every now and again. Ether floods. Pools of concentrated ether that form on the land's surface, thought to be caused by an imbalance in its diffusion beneath. Though ether is usually invisible at flood level. Oh, invisible. At flood level concentrations, it takes on a blue glow. Those with a natural ethereal tolerance can survive exposure to a flood, at least for a short time, but most living things will eventually succumb to its effects, losing their minds and turning akashic. Magicked barriers. Some dominants have the ability to call upon a part of their icon's power to summon a ward, a nigh-impervious barrier that no magic nor matter can cross. However, its maintenance requires a continuous channeling of ether through the summoner's flesh, taking a heavy toll upon them. The larger the barrier, the greater the burden. Priming. The act of a dominant transforming their living flesh into that of their icon. Priming does not require a continual draw on the ether. It is rather maintained by the constant channeling of the vast quantities of ether imbued within the dominant's own body. This allows dominants to remain primed even when they enter the etherless Deadlands, but also results in the crystal's curse taking a heavy toll on them with every act of priming, shortening their lifespan. Airships. Legend has it that the people of the Fallen once sailed through the skies in the bellies of these ships, though all now lie shattered and silent on the surface below. The men and women of the present day are wont to repurpose these ruins for their own uses, both the village of Lostwing and Clive's hideaway in Benamere being built around the wreckage of a fallen airship. Beasts. Animals whose evolution has been warped by exposure to ether, some gaining the ability to cast magics. Unlike bears, however, they seem to have developed little ethereal tolerance, so it is not uncommon to encounter akashic beasts in the vicinity of ether floods. Wild beasts are sometimes tamed by humans for use in warfare, the soldiers of Sanbreque having a particular fondness for those descendants of ancient dragons. Mythos. The name by which Ultima addresses Clive. It appears to be his title for the vessel for limitless power that he means to make of the young Lord Marquis. But to what end he requires such a thing, only Ultima knows. Vessel, a name that the being known as Ultima gives to Clive. It appears to be synonymous with Mythos. Alright, we're on Bestiary. Typhon. Seemingly drawn to the destruction of the heart of Drake's head, Ultima emerged from a tear in reality wearing the skin of Typhon, a withered and wizened colossus, and drew Clive into a space between worlds wherein the ethereal entity might test his worth as a vessel. Ramuh. The Warden of Thunder, whose power most lately awakened within Sidolphus Telamon. Dominants of the icon most often emerge among descendants of the Motes of Thunder, a tribe who once dwelled in the lands of Central Ash, lands that the kingdom of Waloed now lays claim to. Mayhap in part due to the tribe's comparatively advanced learning, Ramuh is associated with wisdom and judgment to this day. Panthers. Archetypal predators known best for their brilliant spotted coats and a proclivity to lives of solitude. That was, again, oddly written. As is the case with most felines, the animals are severely strong-willed in efforts by the Republican Army to harness their inborn speed. What am I saying? Okay. To harness their inborn speed and ferocity for use on the battlefield has been met with varying degrees of success. All right, I'm done, and I'm now 15 minutes into the video, so there's not going to be a whole lot going on in this video, obviously. Simeon's Treasury. Treasury. What? Why is this written like this? God, I'm having such a hard time today. Simeon's Treasury of Knowledge, Volume Ye 11th. Okay, that's why. It's written in Old Tongue. Ye Treasury of Beasts. Okay, this is going to be a nightmare. Ye seas which gird about ye land of Valisthea on all sides, doth churn most frothily with diverse and deadly creatures. Among these are beasts more prodigious in size than entire islands, yet customarily as placid as ye very doldrums. Yet lo, when they do awaken, towering waves are driven forth like in proportion to great mountains. Oof. Ye peoples of ye outer seas, in which these creatures dwell, doth live in great terror of ye writhing isles, as certain chroniclers make record of their being known. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm done reading. I'm so tired of reading. I feel like I've wasted this whole video reading. I should probably just...
Not back a blink and you're already off solving everyone's problems. It looks good, Clive. Goes well with the scowl.
I'd had that brand for so long. I'd forgotten what life was like without it. What it was like to be myself. And it's all thanks to you, Talia.
The scalpel did most of the work. Ah, before I forget, a rider was here with a letter from Gav. Otto left it on your desk.
Otto stole it. All right, I'll have a look.
And then you get some rest.
I don't remember her hair being that long. I'm guessing it's
Could
grown.
Gav have thought worthy of a letter?
Have you been to the toll?
So I was thinking this, like, yes, I realized that his brand was scraped off. But does that really, like, let you live normal? I mean, they're gonna know it's where the brand was, right? Oh, Jill's in my room.
Otto was here earlier with a letter from Gav. He left it on your desk.
On my desk. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wall of memories. The reading table. Reports, letters, and other important missives addressed to Clive are delivered to the reading table in his chambers. New messages are always arriving, so make it a point to check the reading desk upon returning to the hideaway. The Republic's play. The Republican army marches on the Empire at Twinside, and the men of the Rock have been summoned to the front. Something big is brewing, I reckon. I'll see you're done to wear upon my return. Gav, okay. He doesn't wear a patch, he just has a cut eye now.
What does Gav have to say?
The Republican army is on the march, leaving Randalar in Hugo Kupka's charge. With him and his men occupied with the defense of the capital, they're less likely to trouble us.
Good news, then.
It's more than that. This is our chance, the one we've been waiting for.
But look how far we've come. All that we have here, our friends, the hideaway, are they not cause for joy?
5 years. 5 long years. If I could only command this power I've been granted, we might have achieved so much more. But each time I reach for it, it's like something is holding me back.
Summoning an icon exacts a price not easily paid. Your body knows this only too well. It's merely trying to save you from yourself.
And every burden I cannot bear falls to you.
This mission of ours has made me question everything I thought I knew. But one thing has become abundantly clear. The crystals take more than they give. In exchange for momentary comfort, we must endure a lifetime of pain, war after war, loss upon loss. And now they rob us of our very homes, leaving naught but dust and ash. But you're trying to change that. We're trying to change that. And to me, that's no burden.
I know, but...
Try not to forget. We're only here because Joshua gave us a second chance. It would be a pity to waste such a precious gift.
did. He was there. It wasn't an illusion. I heard him call out to Ultima. If Joshua is still alive, he'll be looking for that thing.
Do you think he will ever come back?
I know he will. And we must be ready when he does. To a world without mother crystals. To Sid.
Oh, meanwhile, the Northern Territories.
And so the North is lost.
I knew that the Blight spread ever more swiftly, Your Grace. But this is far, far worse than any could have imagined.
It is only a matter of time before the twins are no more. The world marches ever closer to its end, and here we chase shadows. Tell me, brother, are our efforts in vain?
Master Clive, a moment, if you... my apologies, I didn't mean to... intrude.
Not at all. We were just discussing strategy.
Speak freely, Otto.
It's Martha, from the inn. She's gone missing. Anyway, I'll be in the mess when you've finished.
Very well.
The Gathering Storm.
What would make Martha leave the rest?
If something has happened to Martha, we need to speak with Otto.
Little person finding quest to get our feet wet after the time skip. Sorry, I'm just gonna click on that to get that badge to go away.
What do we know, Otto?
Some lads from the Imperial garrison in Rosaria started a fight over at Martha's Rest. Blood was spilled, bones were broken. The usual. But somewhere in the middle of it all, Martha vanished without a word to anyone. And that ain't like her, Clive. Something's not right.
You think this was planned?
Course it bloody was. Ever since Eastpool, the Empire's been tightening its grip round the Duchy's balls. They've strung up everyone who's ever set eyes on a runaway, claiming they're traitors to the Holy Throne, conspiring to restore the House of Rosfield to power. And now it sounds like the bastards have turned their attentions to the pallbearers meek enough to stay put. Naturally, old Martha could see the way the wind was blowing, complained that it was getting harder and harder to take bearers in.
And now she's missing. She's fallen into the hands of the Empire. We could be next.
Couple of curse breakers, are already on their way to the inn. They should help speed up the search. But if this is as bad as I think it is, you might end up having to save their asses and all.
Don't worry, Otto. I'll make sure everyone gets home safe.
Find the curse breakers. There's a new quest. Yeah, but what? I'm not gonna click on it. I just got done with you. Where's the guy who lets me see all the quests? Oh, it's okay. It's out front.
Finish with that. Welcome back, Sid.
Obelisk, the boatman.
Damn blighted bilge. Is everything all right?
Aside from the holes in my hull, everything's roses.
The lake water doesn't agree with it, then?
That's one way of putting it. And unless you got some grand scheme to suck the black from the lake like we do in the atrium, that slurry will keep eating away at the timber like young Tech does our lemon tarts. Suppose a coat of pitch might stave off the rock for a moon or so. Assuming we had any pitch, which we don't. Not any bloody more. Doubt the old tub's got more than a dozen runs left in him.
Caulk and ball. Unless, of course, someone finds your pitch.
Of course, Obelisk. Your skiff is our only means of reaching the mainland. Without it, we'd be lost.
Well, I'm glad someone round here sees it that way. To make pitch, you need pitch trees. But in case you haven't noticed, live trees are one of the 1,000 things sorely lacking in the Deadlands. Now, I'm not so unkind as to ask you to fell a faraway forest and lug the logs back here to the mere, which is why we'll be needing a suitable alternative. And it just so happens I once heard the thorny pitchers of Curltail Falls cover themselves in a sticky wax to trap birds and beetles and whatnot. Might be enough to tide me over.
Sounds easier than felling a faraway forest. That's for certain.
Quest accepted. Yeah, we'll prioritize that. Where's that located at? Right, so this is where we're going. Yeah, to Martha's Rest. Yeah. But in 3 reads. Okay. I need to do that. Okay. But we're going to go ahead and call this one here. I wasted the entire video reading. I apologize, but it is what it is. We'll pick up the story. Obviously, next time we'll start with this side quest, and then we'll continue with the story. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.